Over the last few weeks, since the new UK government was formed, there has been a groundswell of support for how Scotland takes greater responsibility. Responsibility for improving our public services, responsibility for growing our economy, and responsibility for protecting jobs and the things we value in our society. However, in order for Scotland to take greater responsibility for the powers that have already been devolved to the Scottish Parliament, we need to move away from the budgetary culture of Barnet and beyond the very limited tax proposals that have been recommended by Calman, to a position where Scotland is responsible for raising the taxes for the money that it spends. This is proper fiscal responsibility. We believe that this responsibility will help deliver a better Scotland for jobs, for growth, and for public services. Time and time again in Reform Scotland, we have been looking at the areas of public services, the area of how to grow the economy, and we come back to one of the tools in the box that we just don't have, which is fiscal responsibility. What has surprised me over the last few weeks has been the breadth of the support for these ideas. From business people like Martin Gilbert or Jim McCall, to academics such as Donald Mackay, to those who've lived their life at the very sharp end of social policy such as Campbell Christie. We're launching the campaign for fiscal responsibility today to act as a focal point to try and bring these people together as wide a church as possible who believe in the philosophy that most of our taxes should be devolved to Scotland to allow it to raise the money that we spend. We want to get influencers from across business, the third sector, unions, and the community to add their voice to the campaign. Let me stress, this is not party political, and we welcome anyone who believes the basic philosophy to join the debate. We're also interested in the views of those south of the border to fiscal responsibility, though their reasons for supporting it may be slightly different from those north of the border. And of course, we're keen for the media to take this up in a positive and constructive way to help lead the debate. For those wishing to support us, they can find out more about what we're actually declaring on the campaign for fiscal responsibility from our website, www.cffr.co.uk. There are a number of ways fiscal responsibility can be delivered. Reform Scotland, for instance, has set out one possible way in our paper Fiscal Powers. Andrew Hughes-Hallett and Drew Scott will today describe another way. However, this is the detail that will need further discussion. The broad philosophy is the same, that Scotland becomes responsible for the money that it spends. We have a short window of opportunity whilst the new UK government is prepared for major reforms. The Queen's speech has already flagged that new tax proposals for Scotland is on the agenda, and politicians are talking about Calman, Calman Plus, Calman Plus Plus Plus. We want to make sure that whatever is implemented really does deliver that incentive to make us take more responsibility in Scotland. I'll now pass you to Jim McCall of Clyde Blowers to give a business perspective on this, and then Andrew Hughes-Hallett and Drew Scott will go through the economic arguments and how it might work in more detail. Jim.